I think that it's a very complicated issue, and I think the people who know more about it than anybody else is our engineering staff.
Could you give us a approximate dollar amount that would be the responsibility of each homeowner in this particular case?
I think the road in question we're talking about, order of magnitude, is going to be around $250,000-300,000. So depending on the number of households, and I'm going to do it that way instead of a running foot, if we have 100 to 200, and I'm not sure what the number is, that's what I need to go back and investigate. I think there's 400 total houses in their neighborhood, but not all would be using or would reasonably be assessed against this. So if it's 100 or if it's 200, you simply divide the 300,000. If it's 100, each one would pick up 1,000. If it's 200, each one would pick up the whatever my number is here. So 300,000 divided by 2,000 or 200 residents, so 1,500 each.
So it's between
1,500 to 3,000.
Between 1,500 to 3,000 spread over 20 years.
Spread over 20 years,
so
correct.
It's a few $100s a year.
Yes.
And then you're going to open it back up to should any of those Arrowhead residents be paying along here because they might drive Fargo, or should any of the Pinion residents be paying because they might drive Fargo.
So we're trying to solve the existing problem of the existing projects just to this last current year, not going back to 2002.
Right.
I keep on believing that I'm hitting a moving target when we try to solve problems with the department. And I guess my question is, what is the difference in cost, even if this can happen now? But I was under the same idea that it was going to happen, and that there, but the memo we got was very confusing. What would be the difference in cost to the citizens to use the contractor that we have now, had we gone on schedule and done everything that we expected would happen, versus how much it would cost if you're going to have to do a new RFP and use a whole new contractor and do the whole thing over again?
The main cost that we would have to absorb would be the mobilization costs. The prices that we're getting in construction now are all low. The contractors are desperate for work. So I don't think that we have saved, realized a significant savings necessarily just in the construction costs themselves, but things like mobilization and so on, that is a one-time deal that, certainly is going to have to be, that will be charged in whatever bid we put out now.
And how much is that on average?
For this project, it's hard to estimate. I mean, I have not looked at it at all. I would estimate somewhere in the $50,000 range.
And that will be borne then by the
That will be borne by the residents over the whatever period of time we give them to repay.
And we can use the money that we already have in the program to address some of the drainage issues on Fargo caused by the east-west roads.
Discussion would be, and staff recommendation is, these 4 roads, 1, 2, 3, 4, are the ones we just are finishing up paving. We're going to do drainage improvements along Fargo for those 4 roads to address drainage issues that created by the paving of those 4 roads.
It's still our position that the drainage situation here is a maintenance issue on Fargo as opposed to something caused by work done on the side streets.
Aren't you making drainage improvements on Fargo now?
Pardon me?
Aren't you making drainage improvements on Fargo now?
No, there are no drainage improvements on Fargo.
To help from the drainage that's coming from the roads that got paved.
I thought something was going to go on to Fargo.
Yeah, because you had. No.
We had considered putting header curb in along the areas that were stabilized, but we have shot the elevations and the drainage does flow correctly as far as the work that was done there.
Put that in a little.
And we can use the money that we already have in the program to address some of the drainage issues on Fargo caused by the east-west roads.
That it's a very complicated issue, and I think the people who know more about it than anybody else is our engineering staff. This is probably one of the most complicated situations that we've ever had since I've been sitting here.